It's that time. It's that time. Let's go ahead and get into some Power Rangers Dino Fury as we do it as this particular episode was titled New Recruits, and we did get ourselves some new recruits in both Izzy as well as Javi, both revealing to in fact be Warden Buzzkill's kid, which I think is something that we projected out of the very first episode, or at least we're certainly hoping that that would certainly turn out to be the case, and it definitely is. We find really two storylines going on here at once, one for our villains in Void Knight and his crew, and the idea that they're trying to capture the Nephrite orb from the Pine Ridge Museum. It's supposed to be having mystic abilities and mystic forces and things like that, and so Void Knight certainly needs that component in order to go ahead and put together his newest creation in Boom Tower, which was always a really formidable and really impressive sort of costume. Even when it was in Real Soldier, I don't believe he was around too long. But he certainly had a way of popping back up throughout the season, maybe like one or two more times. But always, for the most part, always seemed to be kind of that one-off kill, if you will. So it would not surprise me if this Boom Tower character at least stays around until maybe the mid-season, like the mid-season hiatus or whatever the case may be. Maybe he's one of the villains that they take down. Who knows? For all I know, next week Boom Tower is completely out of the season. So we'll see what winds up happening. But I really love the costume design. And of course, Mucus coming along saying, he doesn't look too bright or something like that. He doesn't look like he's that smart, but is he tough? And then the guy just knocking Mucus back. I continue to love Mucus, and shout out to Mucus and just the fantastic one-liners that she comes up with, especially it's morphin slime, as she winds up just throwing herself over Warden Garcia's car as Javi sort of drives away. Great sense of tracking, if you will. That's a great ability, right? To just be able to track somebody. I'm just going to ooze all over this car. You come find me, Void Knight, whenever you need to locate me. But I continue to really be impressed with Mucus. But not only do we see Void Knight's attempt to go ahead and get the Nephrite orb, but we do get the opportunity to see here that Zayto's going out for a job, which I honestly was not expecting, to certainly say the least. Good on Amelia to be doing the friend thing and be like, you know what, try and hook him up with a job. I don't know what the employment percentage rate is out in Pine Ridge, but hey, anything certainly helps, right? I feel like a lot of us have probably gotten one of our jobs at least from a friend recommendation. So the fact that Zayto's trying to get this job here at Buzz Blast, I thought was perfect. And what it made it even more perfect was the fact that he had competition in that of Javi Garcia. Chance Perez making his debut in here also. The musically talented Chance Perez, I should certainly say. Anytime that I see Chance with an instrument, I'm just going to automatically assume that's him playing. I've never used a harmonica in my life, but the harmonica is actually one of the 3 or 4 instruments I've always wanted to learn how to play. I actually do have a harmonica if I can find it somewhere. It was given to me and passed down to me from my grandmother. But I've always wanted to learn how to play it. So maybe if I get the chance to meet Chance, maybe he can go ahead and teach me a couple of chords or notes or whatever the case may be. But great to see Chance Perez just at least flexing his musical muscle a little bit here in this episode. And it does answer a question that I had looking at an episode description, I think it was, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. The idea of Javi trying to save up for his a keytar. I remember seeing it on Twitter. I'm thinking to myself, do you mean a guitar? Do you mean a guitar? And I had no idea that that's what they were called, were keytars. But I used to see them. I feel like that's a very retro, very 80s sort of instrument. I don't even, maybe 80s and 90s sort of thing. Just a big old keyboard strapped across your chest with the boom boom hitting it. I haven't seen one of those in forever. So the fact that Javi is fascinated with that just shows me his love for music, not just this era, but just music in general. And so I'm really fascinated to see what Javi's storylines are going to be, considering the fact that one, now he does have a job over at Buzz Blast, but also one of the things that I picked up in this episode for Javi was, Izzy mentioning that his father, in Warden Garcia, isn't too keen on the idea of his musical career. I mean, when you're tied, when you got the title Warden Buzzkill, that probably shouldn't come as a surprise that you don't look highly upon something that one of your kids certainly does. But I will say this: what's up with the idea of just parents not being fully on board with their kids' sort of artistic talent? Right? We saw that with Ravi in Beast Morphers, the idea that Commander Shaw just wasn't having it because of the fact that it was a distraction. But when she eventually realized how important it was to him, she eventually kind of came around. Like if I got to sacrifice the idea of like losing my son over the idea of some painting, like yeah, no, I want my son. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm completely okay with this sort of thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if the warden eventually comes around to it. But I found it interesting from Izzy that we have yet another parent that just does not fully support their kid and their sort of their artistic talent. I mean, granted, the idea of getting into music and art, I mean, financially is probably not the safest bet or the safest route to go. So I could see maybe the idea of a parent maybe wanting to push them in another direction. But the idea of just not being keen on the idea that you are artistic and like to do music, it's just that type of stuff. I'm just not the biggest fan of, sort of thing. But we'll see what the storyline for Javi winds up eventually becoming here. But we do see that despite the fact of him along with Zayto competing for this sort of reporter job, I believe they both don't get the opportunity to actually finish their stories, but Javi gets the win here because of the fact of his courageousness at the Pine Ridge Museum and doing his part in trying to keep the Nephrite orb away from Void Knight and his remainder of his posse that they wind up trying to steal. So definitely ballsy for sure. And I have a feeling that the concept of the Garcias being ballsy and being competitive and not really backing down, I feel like is in their lineage. I feel like if you look at Warden Garcia and you see his personality, I mean, even Homeboy is trying to like talk down to Boom Tower, like, you put that back. That's property of Pine. Like, damn, like this is an alien, and he's talking to him like that, right? So there's definitely no fear when it comes to Warden Garcia, and I have a feeling that definitely trickles down to his kids for sure. And I feel like it certainly showed. The balls on Javi to go ahead and take the orb, run with it, and then just Izzy jumping into the fray with her javelin to come in and help save the day. Just incredible stuff to see the Garcias just as fearless as they certainly come. And I really love just sort of the first impression that we wind up getting from both these characters. But really am fascinated to see what's going to happen with Javier now that he does in fact have himself the job over at Buzz Blast. And things like that. So we'll see what winds up happening. But for me, the woman of the hour, I gotta say, would probably certainly was Tessa Rao coming through as Izzy. First and foremost, I love just the sort of the little interview that Zayto winds up giving. I feel like Zayto was just really coming into his own, or at least trying to come into his own as best as he can. You know what I mean? Coolio. Like I love the phrase. I love the phrase. It's corny as hell, but I love the fact that you get Ollie, who's like, don't tell anybody I told you that. And then yeah, he still rolls with it. And then when he gets caught for it, he's like, yeah, my friend Ollie told me that one. Amelia, you didn't hear that. Like the dialogue, the wit, and the delivery is key. And I don't know if it's the writers just getting comfortable with this cast, knowing what works best for them. Picking up on how they deliver certain lines or some of their traits, but I feel like they're doing a really good job of creating dialogue that really fits them as an actor and as a person, for it to come across just so incredibly well. There's the timing is super important. And when you look at somebody like Russell Curry, even at Tessa Rao in their demo reels, you realize that they do have great comedic timing and great comedic elements to their talent. And the fact that they give somebody even like Izzy to have sort of that sarcastic humor or that wit about her, I really enjoy, right? The idea of talking back to the to Boom Tower and stuff towards the end. It almost kind of came across very Peter Parker like to me, you know, very Spider-Man ish in regards to just some of the fun that she definitely seemed to have on the battlefield and with them. So I'm really loving just the personality sets that they have and the way that Russell and Tessa just really vibed on screen together, even if it was for a brief period of him kind of interviewing her and teaching her the ropes of how to throw a spear or a javelin type of thing. Okay, Mr. Knight. Okay, Mr. Knight. Like there was something really infectious, and just you could see the chemistry of this crew really coming together well, and not just the chemistry, but the acting talent of what they wind up doing here for the Dino Fury cast. It really continues to just shine for me through. But you know, the I thought we got who was the director again? Charles Haskell. Was it Charles again this week? It showed. Loved the appearance of going to the track and field to see Izzy doing her thing as Zayto's trying to go ahead and actually interview her for Buzz Blast. So I thought that was a really great new set piece. I'm trying to wonder if we've seen that set before. Wouldn't surprise me if we have seen it before in the past, maybe just shot completely differently. But the shot selection, the direction was gorgeous in this episode this week. I thought the music by Bert once again was spectacular. Even the moment of seeing Izzy and Javi getting their powers once they transform, and you start hearing the little orchestra sort of vibes in the back too. I mean, it's rousing and just very emotional driven, and it hits me every single time Bert wants to put some type of music or composition on the screen. Like I'm just here for it each and every time. So yeah, the Garcias definitely made an impact on me immediately. I love the opportunity here to see Izzy super pumped and super thrilled. There's also a really great aspect about the team knowing who the Power Rangers are. The idea of not having to go over everything again. It feels very much like we're able to just breeze through some of these episodes with perfection because of the fact that these characters already know who the Power Rangers are, have seen them around for years, gets the idea of Zords, which I love that Zayto's like, you humans really do love your Zords, don't you? And you look at Amelia and she's like, yeah, well, what do you expect? Like, I love just the enthusiasm level that everybody is showing of being a Power Ranger and being able to experience these things for the first time that they've always seen and have always dreamed of, but have never had that opportunity. And they just come across so infectious as we would as the viewers. And I think that really does go a long way in just making this a series that's just so easy to digest. We don't have to go over things that we've gone over for the past 28 seasons. We get it, and the rest of the crew here certainly does too, and it comes together fantastically well. The second unit director, I know Simon Bennett did correct me on this. The gentleman that is in charge of the action as far as the fight choreography, who I can't remember his name off the top of my head, so I definitely do apologize. I will go back and try and recall his name. But the second unit director and everybody involved in regards to the crew, the action was incredible here this week, man. I absolutely loved it. Just from, I don't even necessarily know if it was, I don't even trying to recall if there was a lot of wire work. It didn't even seem like there was a lot of wire work, but seeing Javi duck and dodge with his quickness, him rocking the two swords was just breathtaking to watch. Izzy coming through with the javelin fighting, I thought that was incredible. Also to see her switch up her own weapon and ability. I don't know if that's going to be a new weapon for her to utilize, but I'm here for it. Like, if you feel more comfortable with the javelin and not a sword, listen, I'm cool with that if you want to rock the javelin from time to time. Because I thought that was a really cool weapon for Izzy, especially to switch it up, right? Like when you're already switching it up by ripping your damn skirt off and you're like, you know what? I'm just not a fan of skirts, guys, and nothing wrong with that. And so I love the fact that it's like no skirt, new weapon. Again, I don't know if this is going to be a weapon that sticks around, but damn, do I certainly want it to. Considering the fact that she clearly is a pro at using it, I certainly hope that it becomes a part of her just character in general going forward. But just amazing action sequences. I even love the opportunity to see Izzy just chilling on her I'm about to say her spear, on her javelin while she's on top of the tree, right, waiting for Boom Tower to look up at her so she can come down with the slash. There's even a really great shot in here. You know what? In fact, instead of just talking about it,
this is a dream come true.
I know, right?
Hold that thought.
Hold that thought. Get this out of here.
Skirts aren't really my thing.
Hey!
And that's it. It's just, let's move on. I did edit this together real quick. I love this shot. Iconic shot of her throwing it away, and then the double knees. And talk about impactful.
Rocking it, sis.
I've trained for this. Sort of.
This javelin, though, the moves, man.
Yep.
I love the fact that Zayto even points out the synergy. I gotta rewind this, guys, because I love this move, and I'm wondering this right here. A part of me is sitting here wondering if that was.
What are you doing?
I'm sure it was special effects, but I am wondering also if there was a practicality about it. Ooh, I loved it. I loved it. There is, when it comes to seeing Javi throw the sword and she catches it on the tip of her javelin and she's spinning it around and throwing it. A part of me wonders, like, is that somebody, like, practically, like one of the stunt guys or stunt women, like, is that them really twirling it around on the stick and then adding the special effects so that when she goes forward and throws it, because I don't think the person could probably do it, but I feel like somebody probably could spin that sword around the javelin if they're that skilled, right? Like, I feel like I have seen some pretty skilled people out there that might be able to do that practically. So I'm wondering how much of that is practical, how much of that is actually just a special effect, or if it's just all special effect. Whatever the case may be, it looks smooth as hell, and I absolutely loved it. And the Garcias coming in and just adding some flair and some style and pizzazz. I love the fact that Zayto recognizes just the sibling synergy that's there. These two just get each other, despite the fact. I think they said that Warden Garcia was their stepdad, so I'm assuming. I'm assuming, if anything, maybe they're both blood related, but he is their stepfather, or maybe one of them looks at him as a stepfather. I'm not quite sure how it kind of works out as of yet, but they came to play, man. They came to play, and they certainly came and made a fantastic impression on me. So I loved what we wind up getting in here. I truly did. I'm trying to think if there was any other notes in here that I wind up writing down. Oh, one of the things that I am fascinated to kind of see what's going to happen is the Nephrite orb. Even though we see the Nephrite orb destroyed, by destroying it, we do see that those are in fact the two Ranger keys that were in fact hidden, right? We saw that Zayto, for the most part, was under the impression that the other Ranger keys were in fact lost. He said that very early on in the season in here. So to his surprise, these Ranger keys have in fact sort of survived. I am kind of hoping that we get maybe a little bit of a backstory in regards to the Nephrite orb. Where did these Ranger keys go? How did they get trapped into this particular form, right? Like, who encased them or gave them that particular ability? So I do hope that there are some flashback sequences sort of in our future where we get the opportunity to see how some of these range keys have in fact survived after all of these years. So I am hoping that there's more to that story, to say the least. Quick honorable mention also does go out to the villain of the week here in Draknarak. Or Draknarok, I should say, Draknarok. I love just the ongoing joke of nobody remembering his damn name. Like, hey, come on, whatever your name is. Dragon something, come over here, buddy. Like, is it really that hard to to remember Dragnarok? So I thought that was pretty funny. Just the running gag that we wind up having in here. But again, Javi impressed me not only with his musical talent, but also his bravery in here. Izzy just continues to impress me with the idea of her being the top teen high school athlete in the state, mind you. Talk about competitive as they come. It's almost like she's like a triathlete, or probably takes part in like decathlons and things like that. So I'm really eager to kind of see what her competition level is certainly like, and what her competitive spirit certainly is. And I feel like we're definitely going to explore that in future episodes for sure of Dino Fury. But I was really impressed, man. Personality wise, I can rock with her, man. The smart assness, the wittiness about her, the confidence that she has. It definitely reminds me a little bit, like I said, of Peter Parker when he's in his Spider-Man costume. Just some of the lines that he winds up throwing out at you, sort of thing. So I'm pumped. And first and foremost, Zayto, for somebody who is not from this earth and is not a reporter, you got some great interviewing skills, my guy. To be able to kind of take the rejection from Izzy, like, I don't really do interviews here, and to be able to turn that around to getting an opportunity and an interview, I thought was brilliant from Zayto. So coolio, guys. I'm all here for it. The cast members are incredible. Their acting is recognizable for sure, in the sense that I see your talent, guys. I see your talent every time you're on screen. To be able to take some of these lines and deliver them, and with the timing that they have, that type of stuff really takes skill. And for me, they're doing a really good job of just elevating the storytelling and the content that we're already getting. Becca and Alwyn are doing a marvelous job when it comes to writing for this cast and these characters. And it just, this series is just breathe sort of like just new life into me when I watch this show now. And so I have nothing but fun when I watch this. If there were any downsides to this episode, I don't even necessarily want to put Jane and Jay Borg under the bus here in this one. It definitely feels like this is the sort of kid element that they certainly want to make sure continues in Power Rangers. I don't think that's ever truly going to go away per se, but there is something about the way that they sometimes handle the duo comedy so far 4 episodes in that I still don't quite mind. I mean, maybe the physical harm humor is back in this episode in regards to like Jay Borg being electrocuted and her hair's like all over the place and stuff, but the personalities of Jane and Jay Borg are just not annoying to me. Like I really enjoy them, and they come across really humorous. And the Jay Borg actor, like for me, just seeing her walking around as a robot, and her facial expressions and stuff, that type of stuff really does kind of get to me. So while it does feel like we have a comedy duo, it hasn't gotten too over the top for me as of yet to take away my enjoyment of them, because I am still loving Jane's interactions with the rest of the crew. Her little talk with Zayto in here is about to head him out for an interview and things like that. I really love what they bring to the characters, into the scenes that they're in, but I can get the idea of some people maybe not rocking with it if it feels like, oh, this is the same old. I do feel like they're approaching it a little bit better, but this type of stuff is just not going to go away. They clearly have an audience that they're going for, but the writing is really doing a great job of giving us as little of that, but still a really great sort of just a fun adventure sort of episode. And I feel like I can't ask for more than that, to be honest with you. They're really up in their level. So listen, guys, at the end of the day, though, I definitely want to know your thoughts. What did you guys think of our new recruits? Did they impress you as much as they certainly did me? The Garcias are definitely not a family to F with, for sure. And I'm really going to be looking forward to seeing how these characters are developed, but they all certainly made great sort of first impressions on me, to be quite honest with you. But guys, I want to know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below after this, after we wind up wrapping up. So with that, guys, I will go ahead and jump into some of your comments with